can let us know when it goes live. I'll just push the magic button.
Okay.
I'm still here, guys. I'm still here.
Okay.
You hear Bruce? Okay.
It's live now.
Awesome, awesome. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Hot Seats. Truly excited. We have some awesome guests joining us tonight. If you guys can go ahead and share on your platforms really quickly, like and share, so that we can go ahead and get started for your communities to be able to participate with tonight's segment. Super excited to have you guys here. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. We really appreciate you guys.
No problem. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. Marquita, welcome back. We also have a newcomer on the platform this evening. I'm kind of scared to introduce him because he's been cutting up in the behind the scenes. Oh, man. No, seriously, though, truly excited to have everybody joining us tonight, truthfully. Definitely excited. We have Darren Baker with us tonight, first time on with us. Mr. Baker, wave at our community. Let everybody see you. Tell them hello. Tell the people hello. And also we have some other individuals. But before we get started and I do all the introductions, we're going to go ahead and say a quick word of prayer, you guys, really quickly. Father, we thank you again for this opportunity to share with these, your incredible people. We thank you for affording us another opportunity, giving us another fantastic day to live and to share with others and to help people to build their relationships where they are and to be better stewards over the life that you've given us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Ecstatic to have everybody on. Again, thank you everybody for being here tonight. We have Marquita Terry in the building. Miss Marquita, wave, hey. Again, we have Mr. Darren Baker, first time on with us. Mr. Baker, wave, tell everybody hi.
Hello, how you doing?
We have Bruce Oliver in the building. Mr. Bruce, welcome back to the segment, sir. We appreciate you, brother. Welcome back. And we also have Tonil Jackson in the building. Miss Tonil, you've been super busy. Welcome. Glad you could join us. I know you've been on
Yes, ma'am.
I know you have been on the move, so
glad to be here.
Excited to have you with us. We appreciate you being on with us again. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. It's my pleasure. I appreciate you guys so much. This show is going to be really interesting. This is actually Mr. Dixon's baby. This time, he actually did a post about a week ago regarding this topic, and after he and I conversed about what we would be discussing this week, I said, hey, let's go ahead and tackle that topic because this one is challenging when it comes to relationships and people actually genuinely supporting us in our quest and our endeavors, as they say, quote unquote, they will, whether you know, together or not. So it was really something that I thought would be very interesting and intriguing. I forgot to tell you, Mr. Dixon, we got a lot of feedback from the Inbox Ministries about this topic, and I'm going to be sharing some of that tonight as we dive into the segment, you guys. This is going to be a very interesting topic, but I'm going to read a little bit of the narrative and we're going to shoot from the hip for tonight. So super excited. Mr. Dixon, thank you so much always for being here, for really helping us to really build this platform solidly and just being our wingman and really doing what you got to do to help us build this incredible platform. So we really applaud and appreciate you, sir, for your time and energy co-hosting with us each and every week. So thank you so much for that. I also want to give a shout out to my silent partner, Gracia Rich, who literally every single week she goes in with me to edit my narratives, to actually make sure that my marketing stuff is on point. I'm not sure if you guys know or not, I do all my own marketing. So Gracia goes in to help me to make sure that my marketing is on point and pristine. So Gracia Rich, I know you're out there in the chat somewhere. Thank you so much for being behind the scenes, helping me definitely to perfect the gift that I've been granted. So I really appreciate you doing that. And also Mr. Dixon goes in and says, that don't look right. I don't like it. Look like they've been in the jail. Take that back. Go back to the drawing board. So, you guys would be surprised how much goes into putting these shows on. It's a lot that goes into it. It seems like it's easy, but there's a lot that goes into making sure we have stellar quality shows that we put on for you guys each and every week. We want to give you guys the absolute best that we've been able to have, you know. So definitely want to thank everybody for all their participation and all the guests that have been on. We've had about 40 guests so far, Mr. Dixon, that have graced
So
the
if you don't get into this topic,
Right.
Yeah.
you don't thank the whole Northwestern Hemisphere, baby. Come on, let's go.
Look, I'm on a timer. I'm giving my 3 minutes credits to everybody that's been
God.
on.
That's funny. It's crazy.
So I already know. I know y'all.
Doesn't the credits roll at the end, not the beginning?
No, no. That's all right. Y'all can. Y'all go
Coffee
ahead.
Scorpio, she gets sentimental.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
look, Bruce, don't you start telling everybody what you know.
Come on, let's go, baby. Let's go.
So here it is. Have you ever had someone in your life that assured you, come hell or high water, that they would be down for what you're doing? They led you to believe that regardless of your relationship, the investment in your success is what matters to them most. This is until reality shows up and the two of you are no longer committed to a relational connection, be it platonic, professional, or intimate. This is the time when the true test of loyalty begins to manifest. You see whether their words and intentions were legitimate or just plain lies. Let's explore the topic. Is it real or fake support? Will they be there even when it no longer benefits you? Mr. Dixon, give us the backdrop of this segment that was on your mind.
Well, I think about this from the perspective of this is where a lot of people can get duped up front when it comes to either, starting to get into heavy dating or even in relationships. I've learned that a lot of people tolerate you as opposed to celebrating you. They'll be around you and they'll say, "Oh, Bruce, I kind of, yeah, baby, that's fine." But really, you don't really, it's like that you're really not that connected to just how passionate Bruce is about his cause. You see what he's doing, and as long as the waves aren't rippling, you'll go ahead and just play the part and actually, to me, if you're not fully in support of someone, you are making your own self unhappy because you're not living yourself. You just kind of being somebody's fake man, so to speak. And so I think people are doing this, and for the sake of the connection of saying I have someone, but you're not really taking the time to really understand what supporting someone really means. As it pertains to the commitment portion of it, that means when you're saying I'm ready to be exclusive with Tonil, I am now saying, look, I love everything about this woman, how the stuff that she gets on, and she's so passionate about helping people. I can jump in and support her because I know I can add this to her world. If you're not saying that, you're not legitimately supporting her. You just kind of by her side, but you're not really supporting her. And so I think today what happens is when we get in these relationships, and the hurting part about it is you can be with someone and they'll be singing your praises, but the minute you get them angry, they'll pull that rug and just seem like they don't care about nothing you do. Some of them even get smart and say your business ain't gonna do nothing anyway, Bruce. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell you how they really feel on the back end. So that's like that's an unfortunate thing. So I thought about that and I figured it'd be something good to dig into.
But it's funny that you said that there's a lot of meat into that little bit of statements that you've made so far. Mr. Baker, go ahead and give us your thoughts about this topic tonight. Is it real or fake support? Are they going to be there if it no longer benefits them in the journey after it's been said that I'm going to be there?
First of all, you should be telling certain things to certain people no way. Some people need to stay. Some people are reason, season, or a time, reason, and season, whatever the saying goes.
Right.
You cannot express certain ideas to certain people. Certain people can't handle it. So first of all, they need to know their lane, and you need to know what lane they're in your life. Certain people are, again, there for a time in your life to help you get through to the next stage. There's some that's going to be with you the long haul. Those are the ones that you have to really know your friends. You have to know who you are as a person to express certain ideas or certain personal things to you. Because just like Charles said, they'll be with you for a while, and then they'll say it ain't going to work, and they'll turn around and take your idea, and they'll go around the corner.
Yeah, you are.
Be up front and say, let's do this, and let's do this. And they'll be like, oh, dang, that's a good idea. Let's go do it. And they take your idea, and they blow it up.
Yeah.
So, like I said, you have to know who you're dealing with as a person. Some people like that. Some people won't reveal themselves. They put on a pretender face until they get what they want out of you, then they bounce. So,
Mm.
Mm,
Good
that's
stuff.
funny you say that. So Neil, piggyback on that. That was a lot that was just said.
Yeah, but you know what? It's easy to do because as both Charles and Darren were talking, I was thinking back to I watched TD Jakes. He had I can't remember the sermon, but he talked about the three different people that's in your life. That's either the constituent, the comrade, or the confidant. And so
Yeah,
you
Mm.
have to know
yeah,
who's who, right? Because everybody serves a purpose, but you get
Yeah.
jacked up if you give the wrong label to the wrong person. And so
right.
sometimes it can be tricky going back to Charles's point because you might have labeled somebody, say you, like you say, you're in a long-term relationship, so you automatically think that this person is a confidant, but they actually are not. They just was a constituent, because y'all share a common purpose, but
Mm.
once that purpose is no longer there, then they no longer have your best interest at heart because they never did. They just liked what you were doing. And once the season
Yeah.
of what you're doing is over,
It's over.
then so is their
Mhm.
support.
That's it.
Right.
That's good stuff. That's good
Wow.
stuff. Marquita, piggyback on that.
Yeah, because I was actually going to bring that up too. Um, it's all in the vetting process. Like you have to make
Mm.
sure that you are
That's
observing to
good.
make sure you can determine whether or not they are comrades, constituents, or confidants. And a lot of
Right.
times they'll show you up front. You just have to make sure that you're observing or you're being, you're doing the vetting process. A lot of times people are not going to tell you, I'm just here because I like what you're doing, or
Mm,
I am here as a
Right.
comrade because I'm against what you are against.
Oh wow.
So it's all
Mhm.
in you
mhm.
really vetting that person and paying close attention to what they do versus what they say.
Mm.
And see that
Mhm.
that's the danger zone that I talk about all the time is you watch people's actions, not necessarily their words. The unfortunate
Hmm.
part of that is everything should match up and coincide. There shouldn't be a variation between what
Right.
you say and what you do. There really shouldn't be. So when you start thinking about that, you think to yourself, well, this person is not living in their true reality, whatever that means. So they're not being
Mm.
true to themselves first. So they definitely can't be true to
Come
you if
through
they're
to
not
you.
being true
Yeah.
to themselves. So that's the first thing is that we have to watch people from the perspective to see how true they are to their own journey. So a lot
Yeah.
of times, person's not true to their own journey. They're not actually implementing what they're talking about. They don't act upon what they say they're going to do. Then you got to look at that and say, well, I shouldn't be looking for them to be supporting me in any capacity because they don't support themselves.
Period. Yeah.
Hmm.
Themselves,
It's
yeah.
like I went to a
Yeah.
meeting this past Friday, and it was supposed to be like 30 minutes. It ended up being 2 hours, and the guy was telling us, he was saying, remember the airplane. If you don't put the mask on yourself first, then you can't save anybody
Yeah.
else. So he was
Yeah.
talking
Mm.
about it was a huge business meeting that we were talking about. We're talking about being stretched, people going from 6 figures to 7 figure incomes and stuff like that. And he was talking about the effects that it has on your mind and just different things that we were discussing about how to maintain and how to obtain this type of revenue and how to keep it and what you have to do and that fizz. But it was interesting that Tonil mentioned the three type of people because he didn't say those words, but he talked about those three classes
Mhm.
of individuals. And he was saying,
Mhm.
even in the mastermind group that he was in, he was like, we went through 4 interviews to get to the mastermind group. He said, you know
Mm.
why? I wanted you to eliminate yourselves. I was making sure that
Mm.
I was
Mhm.
getting everybody that did not
Mhm.
need to be in this
Group.
environment.
Mm.
Because he
Mm.
was like, I'm here, I'm
Mhm.
about the money. He was like, look, I'm all about the money. I love people, but I can't help anybody if I don't have any money. So he was
Mm.
Hmm.
saying,
Mhm.
so he was like going through this vetting. I mean, it was like getting on my nerves. I was like, how many more times do we have to go to what in the heck? And he was like, once we got there, I was like, wow. He was like, I was just making sure that everybody that wasn't serious got rid of themselves before we got
Mm.
to
Yeah.
this particular place. And that is really truly the vetting process is to let people eliminate themselves. Bruce,
Yeah.
piggyback to us, Bruce.
It's that this is a really good topic
It is.
because when you have a vision, right? When you set a vision, you'd be surprised to learn how many people do not have visions.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
When you are operating and functioning and working your vision, you learn some things over the years.
Mhm.
You learn some things as you do it, and you're able to see. You're able to judge a person's movements, their conversation, their
Mhm.
body language. You can discern so much stuff because you have taken the time in your vision to start from the ground and go up level to level to level to level.
Absolutely.
So when you encounter somebody in a relationship or a friendship, you're not quick to expose what you see with this person, but you say to yourself, okay, they're on level 4.
Mm.
Mhm.
Because you've been there already. You know what it's like.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that person's on level 7, step 3. Oh, okay,
Right.
they're coming along.
Mhm.
Right.
The thing
You know.
is, the thing is that people will present to us like they are already there.
Mhm.
Mm.
That
Right.
is the problem.
Right.
And when you've been functioning in your vision for quite some time and you know that they are not there, the challenge, say like for me, Coffee, I'll say this quickly, when it comes to real estate
Mhm.
and renting to people, right?
Mhm.
Mm.
I can flip a house, get a property, and I can have a tenant lined up that I know. They're a friend of mine. Oh, bro, I need some help, man. You know, it's rough out here. That kind of friend, Charles. You know what I'm
On the
saying?
hookup. Give me the hookup.
It's
Yeah.
rough out here, man. I need to hook
Yeah.
up. Okay, you sit and you talk to them for a few minutes, and you know where they are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know this brother not gonna pay me rent for the first 90
Right.
days.
Right.
I know it's gonna always be an excuse,
Yeah.
but the
Mhm.
challenge becomes when they present themselves like we are on the same level,
Yeah.
Mm.
and our heart is involved, and we don't have the courage
To be
or
like, no.
sometimes the coldness to be like, nah, bro, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially if you
Right.
got some
But can I
compassion.
piggyback?
Because that's business. That's business. Somebody else was getting ready to say something. I heard somebody interjecting. Who was it? Okay, go ahead,
Tony.
Can
Tony.
Yeah.
can I piggyback real quick?
Go
Like
ahead.
we're talking about on the other side, right? Like because we're saying what Bruce was saying was when we recognize that person and where they are. But I'm gonna tell you where a lot of the issue comes in is if you're not where you're supposed to be, right? Because if
Mm-hmm.
you start out and maybe you are immature, maybe you are dysfunctional starting out, then
Yeah.
you can mistake a comrade for a confidant, or you know what I'm saying? You can mistake those
Absolutely.
people because your
Right.
vision isn't what it's supposed to be. And so then what complicates the matter even more is if you begin to grow and evolve over time and the other person doesn't. And then now this is like for any type of relationship, but especially a romantic one, you're growing over time. And so now you're evolving. And so that level of immaturity that you might have once possessed that made you think that that person was a confidant, and then you find out, oh, you just a constituent, then it becomes a little bit hard because it's like, do I still, because what like Charles and Bruce are referencing is we recognize where that person is. And at that point, it's for us to determine, do we want to continue to deal with them or not? But what happens if you determine that now you're not who you once was? You no longer possess the vision you once had. So is the person's support no longer like genuine, or is it just the fact that you now call for a different type of support because you're no longer the same?
Wow.
That makes sense. Mr. Baker, interject with us. Share your thoughts, Mr. Baker.
I concur with everybody saying. Like I said, just it goes back to like again, like Tonil said, knowing who you are as a person. You
Yeah.
have to know who you are before you start giving things away for free, so to speak.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
That's good.
it's you can't just give things away for free. I mean, you're supposed to keep certain things close to the chest, and other things you can share with certain or
Mhm.
like-minded people, so to speak.
And
Mm.
it's like, okay, not to get super spiritual on y'all, but it's the scripture that says, try the spirit by the spirit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You gotta
We'll
really
try
know,
spirit to
you
spirit
gotta
to
you gotta
God.
know really who you're dealing with at the core of their existence, like what Tonil
Mm-hmm.
was saying. And what's interesting about this whole thing, because I think about real versus fake, and I think in contextually when it comes to romantic relationships, it's real for that moment. It's not that it was
Yeah.
ever fake support. It's real in that moment, at that time,
In that
when
moment.
the person is in that vein. And a lot of this is
Mm,
stemmed off of emotion. It's not off of them thinking logically or long
rational.
Mm-hmm.
term or
Mm-hmm.
professionally or how this can build into something else, fizz. Because I was thinking about that earlier today. I was like, wow, if you're in a committed relationship with someone and you guys decide to dissolve that,
Mm.
why would we even expect for the person to keep supporting and they're not going to have an exchange? in
Mm.
essence in essence, people look for what's in it for me.
For me,
So
yeah.
they look for
Now,
the what
it
what's in it
depends.
for
It
me.
depends on who the person is. It depends on who the
Yeah.
Well, that's
person
why
is.
that's why I'm saying that. But most humans look at things from a perspective of what's in it for me. So they look at it from the point of, there's no interest there between me and said person, and we were romantically involved, and you're talking about feelings and emotions tied and things like that. And depending on the dissolve of that relationship, you cannot expect that
Mm-hmm.
person to continue moving forward with you in any other capacity if they weren't able to handle that type of unplugging or that type of dissolve. Because everybody can't handle the dissolve of a relationship and still participate in other
Yeah.
areas of that person's life. Everybody's not mature enough to handle that type of
Right.
mantle. So we can't we
Yeah.
have to be back to what Tonil was talking about, the three different types of people. If that person is a true confidant and they're mature, it won't matter if you guys are in a personal relationship or not. They're going to be concerned about the bottom line, how to
We're
make
both
certain that
into.
you
Yep.
win in whatever it is you decided you're going to do. They're going to be there regardless of if it's going to benefit them or not, because their support is not tied to them, it's tied to you.
Well, here's
Mm-hmm.
the biggest problem is, unfortunately, like, let's just take me and Bruce. Me and Bruce enjoy doing what we do in terms of, speaking to the masses and different topics about relationships. So I can mean what I say when I say, Bruce, I support you, brother, because
Right,
we have a connection at what we do. The problem
right.
is, in the romantic space, people are so mate oriented and goal oriented in terms of a mate. By any means, they want to get there. So the thing is, you run up against people all the time that the danger is, yes, I hear what you're saying. I really am not that interested, but I do need a husband or wife. So I'm gonna go ahead on and just sit here because that's what I'm supposed to say. And the sad thing is, a lot of women will say from a distance, oh yes, I can do this and I can be there, and they really don't have a clue what it takes to support you. Because think about it,
Yes.
we are really only as strong as what we are able to lean up against with our weight, with our
Mm-hmm.
full weight. What can you
Right.
lean up against? Can it support you? If it can't support you, eventually it's going to topple, start to crack at the foundation and break.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be certain that people that are coming into your life, they need to really be educated on who Tonil and Bruce and all these people. You need to really be
Absolutely.
educated on who this person is and take it beyond the shell, or this person has means and they seem like they can take care of me. You got to go past that. And I think if we really approach relationships from a support base, I think we would have more healthy relationships. And I think most of us, if we're
Mm-hmm.
honest, we don't meet people with the goal in mind of supporting them. We just, can we get along? Do we have a
Mm-hmm.
vibe, chemistry, or I'm attracted to
Mm-hmm.
you, and that's it. And forget about the support
Mm-hmm.
until we learn of your cause later. Then let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And by
Mm-hmm.
that time, it's too late. You know.
Don't.
And I
Too
also
late.
I also think
Mm-hmm.
that we should define what support is, because a lot
Yes.
of people
I
kind of
was
go
just
into the
thinking.
relationship saying, um, what's in it for me, like tangible things. But what
Right.
Yes.
about what's in it for me, like what can I learn from the situation? If it doesn't
Yeah.
go past this or
Yeah.
whatever the narrative I have in my head, what is it here to teach me?
Right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And too, when you talk about the intangibles, even to expound on what you were saying, to think about how can I apply what this person has imparted into me into my own
Yeah.
interject it into my own life, into my
Right.
own endeavors, into my own career path? How can I take this same information and literally and multiply it and become better than I am as an individual, as an artist, as a, entrepreneur, whatever the case might be? Because if you really think about it, there's a saying that I say to people all the time: you have to learn your mate to earn your mate.
Earn your mate. Yeah.
I always say that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're supposed to be your
Mm-hmm.
mate's student. They're your teacher. They're
Yeah.
teaching you what they like, what they don't like, what they're open to, what they're not open to, what works for them, what doesn't work for them. I mean, you could be with somebody. Bruce talked about this a while ago, and somebody inboxed me about something that he said, and I never got a chance to come back to you on it, Bruce. But Bruce was saying this. Bruce said something so pertinent. He said, when I am in my zone and I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing what I need to do to get my desired outcome, it's not that I'm ignoring you or I don't want to deal with you. I literally am applying all of my
Come on.
energy to get my end
Mm-hmm.
result. And it's not that I'm
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
so if you don't hear from me for 2 or 3 days, you can't get upset with me if you know what it is that I'm doing, because I've already expressed to you and I've already shown you, you already seen it. So he
Right.
was like, and he was talking about that from a perspective of saying people ask for too much from someone that they're not able to give that because that's not where they are. So
Correct.
Yeah.
when Marquita was talking about, when you said define support, this is what Bruce was talking about in that show that we had. He was saying,
Mm-hmm.
look, if I'm in my zone and I'm doing this and I have a deadline that I have to meet, I don't have time to be romantic and playing house. And
Right. That's it. That's it.
You know,
energy.
it sounds like y'all talking about grown folks,
Right.
not no kids. See,
Right.
kids don't understand the difference.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
see, you made a big point. That was a
Yeah.
great point, because when you talk about grown folks, that's defined too. Because everybody
Right.
that's anatomy, that anatomically looks like an adult, doesn't mean they are.
You
Right.
better say it.
Yeah.
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 Because
Nah, I think
we all look grown, but that doesn't mean we're mature.
True.
but
Wow.
see that
It's
too, that goes back to vetting people though, right? Like,
Yeah.
and because I want to tie Marquita and Darren's point together. Like, if you don't come in giving everything you got after the first date, you know what I'm saying? And I don't just mean sexually. You got a lot of people that's so desperate to have a partner that they will just give you everything, promise you everything after
Up
meeting
front.
you the first time.
Press there. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're
Yeah.
afraid to be by yourself. And so I think that maturity is actually something that you don't have to be around a person for an extremely long time to determine whether or not they're mature. You don't have to be, well, I don't have to be around a person a long time to determine whether or not they're selfish,
Right.
and like
Mm-hmm.
and going to Marquita's point, support looks different for everybody. And that's how come it's important. I think that from the onset, you have to tell somebody, this is what support looks like for me. Look, I'm an entrepreneur, so I work unconventional hours. It don't
Yeah.
mean that I don't love you, but when I'm asked to be here, I will be. And don't feel like just because I ain't with you that I'm cheating on you. I got other things that's important
That's
for
good
me.
stuff.
And so
Yeah.
if you're with somebody that's not an entrepreneur, that might not be a good match because that might not be what they're used to. And so it
Right.
goes
Yeah.
back to the vetting process. And then at the end of the day, communication, where
Yeah.
you're communicating. So two people, you understand, what does support look like for you? What does it look like for me? And what are our expectations of each other?
And that's good
Wow.
that you
Good
Yeah.
said that,
stuff.
because that's real support in that person's eyes. They're supporting you to the best of their ability, but if they're not, that's another thing too. If you're dealing with someone who doesn't have like interests, like kind of personality functions and things like that, it's going to, I always say, I don't think opposites attract. I think they repel, because a magnet is drawn by the energy of what it needs to connect to. There has to be some like passion, some like energies, some like collaborations. There has to be some like-mindedness for you guys to be in agreement, to for that person to really flow in what it is that they're doing, and you really be able to support them. Because when somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, like O'Neill said, I work non-conventional hours, I may have to go do this. And then with Bruce talking about being a landlord, even if he has a third party supporting him that he pays to be a manager of his properties, what if that person can't handle something and Bruce has to show up? Then what?
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
and you got something set with old girl, and she like, well, you know what you promised me? This the third time that you.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
you have to handle your affairs because your livelihood is tied to that. Let's go to the chat real quick, guys. This is great. Robert Lee says, I tell women all the time, make sure that man's foundation can support your weight. Me and need to make sure that women understand what covering is most. Katonia says, what about when the relationship dissolves and the new love has a problem with their mate supporting the old love? For some, it will pose a conflict of interest. Bruce, I'll let you tackle that in a minute. And then Gracia says, that's right, Charles. Some people, men and women, only support you because they are committed to what they want in the relationship, not your actual goal or cause.
Right.
Nakia Hodges says, the fake supporters are those who are supporting your cause with the intention of getting close to you. Those you are already in a relationship are supporting you out of the love they already have for you. But back to Katonia's question, Bruce, if you want to tackle this one, what about when the relationship dissolves and the new love has a problem with their mate supporting the old love? For some, it will pose a conflict of interest. Good question.
Absolutely. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a great
You
question.
know, we just talked about this last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
When Charles and I we were in New York at the event. It's that soul tie.
Right.
A lot of times the women are connected. They're still connected to the men
Right.
emotionally, not even always romantically.
Right.
And what a lot of women and men fail to realize is how much we communicate that naturally, and just we communicate it with ease when we're with our new partner.
Right.
Oh yeah, girl, Charles is speaking up in New York. I'm just gonna ride up there real quick, and I always like what he has to say. I'm just gonna listen to him.
Right.
And the brother's like, what? Like, man, I done heard Charles' name about 5 or 6 times.
Right. Yeah. Like, what's going on with him? Right.
Yeah. This week. I heard it 5, 6 times this week.
Yeah. So, he ignores it for a minute. They go to bed, they hang out, go to bed or whatever. He wake up in the morning, he hear Charles' CD in the background. Wait a minute. It's this guy. Here's this guy again. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? You listen to his music first. Now you're going to hear him speak.
Right. What's going on?
Baby, that's a little bit more than support, babe. That's a little bit more than support.
Yeah.
My Lord.
Send him a couple $, Cash App or something. Support the ministry, but don't, you got to show up every time.
Be a non-ministry participant on today.
This is a good segue that they brought up, because I mean the question she posed made you look at it a little different lens, because I've seen several situations where, and I'm only speaking from the male side of it because I'm not a woman, but I've seen several situations where I've heard women mention, and the women, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard women mention this in the vein of, you guys will casually say, oh, I'm about to go with my girl to this event. And you be like, well, who's there? Oh, a friend of ours, right? It's a friend of ours. You're like, okay. And then later you find out it's somebody's ex, it's the ex-husband, it's this and the baby daddy play for a group, so we just go on and support. But the point is, the sad thing is, I really believe women really feel like, look, I have separated the romantic side. I'm only going because that's my boy, and I'm checking. However, men don't see it that way. We see it as, why do you still have reserve for them? I'm in your life now. So what are you going over there still following and supporting him for? Because how we see it is, every encounter is a potential threat of reigniting chemistry. Because to us, now you're going around this person, and maybe he's going to hit that note one day. You're like, oh, girl, I remember he used to sing like that. And then he's going to text you on the phone.
Sing to me like that.
Get something to eat. Oh, my God. Y'all doing too much.
I'm telling you, connections are tricky, and it can happen just like that. Because one day you might go there, the person been working out, they got a different haircut. Now they look like a brand new person with a new story. Because all the men always say, listen, Marquita, I'm telling you, I know we did, but guess what? God been really dealing with me. And here you go. There you go. So,
Charles, did you throw the guy? Did you throw the guy been dealing with? I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Marquita, don't they try? But don't they do that though, y'all? They kill me with the
That's what I'm
gospel.
saying. That, like,
Oh, the
you
Lord
put the
showed
Lord
me.
into it, and
The
you're
Lord,
like, oh
he
my
was
God.
dealing with me. He's dealing with me.
The Lord been talking to me, and you know what? I've been meaning to reach out to you.
But see,
And,
men think nobody gonna ever argue with you saying the Lord. So we'll leave it. If I put the Lord in,
yes,
we'll leave it alone.
that is
That's
so.
it.
That is
That's
very,
right.
that
That's
is
right.
very, very
Oh
true.
my Lord.
Yeah.
That is very
Oh
true.
my
But you know
Lord.
what? It goes back to what Marquita said earlier, define support. And a lot of times if we get these definitions out early in these encounters, then we won't run into all these obstacles.
So
But
Neil, look it up. So Neil, look
Yeah.
up support. To Neil, if you got it right there. You got while we talking, if you can. So we
I
can
can,
read. Let's
I
let's
mean,
read what support is.
which definition you want?
No, I just want you to
Because it's
get
a few
whichever
different
you see.
definitions of support.
Yeah, we get like
Charles,
five.
Charles, don't ask a woman to look nothing up. Just ask off the cuff. They give you better off the cuff than
Oh,
You
on
can
the
just
list.
count, right? I'll tell you what.
you know what? They're acting
Because
up.
look, can I say
all
this
right.
though? Can I say this while I
Okay,
am
go ahead.
obediently looking up support? Let me say this. It's
I
so
like how you
it's
threw obedience
funny.
in there.
No, that's right. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I am. She know that word. But look, it's funny / refreshing to hear that men are just as insecure as women. Because to let y'all
Oh
tell it,
yeah,
it's always the women. How come you have to know this, that, and the other? But
yeah,
I think that it really depends on the level of relationship that you're in.
yes,
Like if
Right.
we are not fully committed, then it shouldn't disturb you that I still have male friends, just like if you have female friends. Because again, communication says if I don't have anything going on with this person, then I
yeah,
shouldn't be sneaking trying to keep this person a secret. If I
yeah.
bring it, because again, if
Absolutely.
we're all adults, you should know that I got male friends, you got female friends. So what's wrong with
Mm,
me knowing I'm not a person that have a problem with having opposite sex friends. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
And so that's something that should be at the beginning. Like,
Ironed out
is
up
this
front.
something that's
Yeah,
going to be a
That's right.
problem? Going back to
yeah,
That's
support, is this a
yeah.
problem if I have a friend from the opposite sex, and then you can know who this person is? Now, if you just got a problem with me having opposite sex friends, then that's insecurity
That's
that's
a whole
on
nother
you
story. That's a
that
whole
you have
nother
to
story. That's a whole
overcome.
nother
Because
story. Yeah,
right.
you see what
That's
I'm
something you got to
saying?
deal with
yeah.
But
on your
it's
own
like,
time.
but I
Hey,
do understand
take
what
Right.
you're saying.
take me
I totally
around.
understand
Let's go
what you're
have
saying.
coffee together. I want to see what this person look like. I'm gonna say something else. I want to see what this
Absolutely, let's
person
go
look
out
like.
together.
Right.
I
Let's go
want to see
out
what he look like.
together.
I want to see if you
Yeah.
upgraded or you downgraded coming to me, and then you might want to be
Ooh,
re-upgraded
Oh my
again.
God. Did you say
oh,
okay?
good one. Good stuff.
That's
Good
good
stuff.
stuff. That's good stuff. But
Hey,
you know
look,
what?
let me share this.
But you know one thing seriously though, on a very serious note, sometimes sometimes we have to just be mature enough to say, you know what, I'm going to trust my person with no strings attached. I'm not trying to find out who that was,
Absolutely.
where they came from, why they did this. I'm going to trust my person with no strings attached. And if there's something that comes up, it comes up, but I'm not going on the hunt for it. I'm not going
Mm,
on the hunt for it. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of
That's
times when
good.
we go
Mm-hmm.
on the hunt, that's where the problem comes in. We start hunting, and
You're gonna find something.
women are notorious. We go on the hunt. Talking about, you know what? I'm trying to understand why is it every time instead of just letting it be what it is, let the chips fall where they may. Give a person an
Yeah.
opportunity to show you what their truth is, and if you find that that person is not being
Mm-hmm.
upfront, not being honest, I'm telling you, there's a homing device of women that will tell us the truth about something without us ever having to ask y'all anything.
mm.
Absolutely.
So a
Yeah,
lot
let
of
me check. Let me
if
let me
you go
check your cell phone.
let no checking phones and all that. When you
Mm-mm. I
when you
don't
go
do that.
100%,
We don't do
when
phone
you
checks.
right, when you go 100% integrity, seriously, when you go 100% integrity, you have to trust that person in totality because that's the only real way that the
That's it.
relationship gonna work anyway. Because if you're dealing with an
That's
attractive
it.
person and they got some kind of audience somewhere, I mean, just look at this. Look at everybody on here. You
Come
talking about
on.
attractive people. So if you're an attractive person, somebody gonna be attracted to you. And I always
Mm,
say, I don't
That's
want
so true.
nobody. I don't want nobody. Don't nobody else want. I don't want them.
mm.
Forget it. Go
Amen.
ahead, Bruce. Go ahead, Bruce.
Whole word.
You
But
just
you
don't
don't
want
know that going
them
in.
close
Let
to
me.
them. That's all.
I
I'm
don't want them close, but
here.
I don't want nobody that don't nobody else want either.
Yeah, true that.
But you don't know that going
Mm-hmm.
in.
Yeah, yeah. You're right.
I
You're
didn't say
right.
we was gonna have more for dinner
That's
now,
not
Darren.
true.
I ain't saying nothing about having more for
Yeah,
dinner. Go ahead.
it's a
Here's
touchy.
one of
Go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead, Bruce.
here's one of the things that I have experienced as a black man. All right,
Okay.
I'm 50 now. I'll be 51 in November, right? Over the years, I have experienced. I like to think that I'm different.
Okay.
I like to think that, and I'm gonna say even about you, Charles. You know how I think about
Right.
you already.
Right.
I think that men like yourself, because we are like-minded, I
Right.
think we are different. I think we are philosophical men. We're into the things of the mind,
Right.
spiritual realities and
Right.
wisdom and proverbs and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I have found that a lot of men are not like that.
Right.
Therefore, women find us attractive.
Right.
But they're not attracted to the fact that we love philosophy. They're
Right.
attracted to the fact that we are different. But they don't really care. Some of them really didn't care what the difference was.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Or the fact that you present a challenge.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
intricacies present a challenge. That's what it is. Right.
It always
That's,
made me
that's,
feel
that's
as
the guy
though
perspective there.
it always made me feel like that they were attracted to me out of deficiency.
Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Like there's a
Right.
weakness in them. No,
Right.
this goes to our
No,
topic.
that's real. That's real talk.
That's real true.
There's a weakness in them that makes them attracted to my strength. So their
Right.
goal is to extract my strength from me.
Strength.
They don't care about
Right.
me.
They
They don't care about me, but they want to extract the
want to
strength
glean.
from me.
They want to glean their strength from you. Yeah, glean from you. Yeah.
Exactly. And then when something may impede that, whether it's conflict or the strength may not always be what they think it is, when they find out that I'm not Superman all the time, Clark Kent, you know what I'm saying? Then all the support is gone.
Wait, but Bruce, here's the thing. People have to understand that it is difficult loving a philosophical person because you are conflicted, you are complicated. I mean,
Yes.
don't get me wrong.
Very
These may sound like bad characteristics. They're blessings to you, right? But they are things that the average person will be like, look, it don't take this long to do this. How come this person busy for this? Why are they doing this? And to be honest, it takes a lot to go into developing you. When to be you, it takes a lot. It's not easy to develop you and live a life like this and have all these millions of things going around in your brain, and then people, and to have, again, if you have the wrong support, they will begin to erode the foundation. Because the reason why I say that is because the wrong support will begin to say, I need you to do this. Hold on, I'm almost finished. I'm preparing for this word tonight. But I need you. Every time that happens, here comes a stone down. Here comes another brick and mortar, something else. Each time is pulling away from the foundation. And before you know it, it will crumble. And that person, the man or woman, whoever's in that position, runs the risk of crashing and kind of like damaging their process, period. And it's being also
it goes back to what Tonil said when we first opened up, when she was talking about the three kind of people. If you're talking about a confidant, they're not just giving. They're not just giving. They're taking off. It's a circle. It's not a just one channel way of doing things. It is a circle where both people are being reciprocated in some capacity. Everybody is benefiting from the equation. If one person is always taking, like what Bruce and Charles were just talking about, that is not a confidant. That's not the person that you should be connected to on that type of intimate level, because they can't handle the weight of your well. Your well is
that's it.
So you got to be able to deal with somebody who can handle the weight of your well, because if somebody's shallow and you're down here, you in deep, you way down deep, and you under here with scuba diving stuff on, and they still over there wading in the water, that's not helping you, because a lot of times when you're giving out, you need somebody to refill you.
Correct.
They can't refill you if they don't have anything internally to give out. So it's like every now and then, like at certain times when I feel compelled, I feel compelled to send somebody a spiritual something. And they'll
Yeah.
hit me and say, man, that was timely. I was feeling, deficient in this area, feels. Or other times just for encouragement or edification or saying, hey, you're doing an incredible job. Don't stop. Don't stop now. What you're doing is benefiting other people. You're adding value, and whatever the case might be. But you got to have somebody that's doing the same. It's got to be a reciprocated thing. It don't have to be exactly the same thing, but it's got to be reciprocated,
Yeah.
because it's not going
Serve
to
the same
work
purpose.
if it's
Yeah.
not reciprocated. It's not
But
going
see,
to work.
but see, here's the problem. When people see you, let's just say somebody sees Tonil in action from the outside, they just see her. Oh, she looks like she's fervent, and that lady she looks like she likes what she's doing,
Right.
and they're
Right.
going to entreat her
Right.
just off of that. And
Right.
that's not enough to know what holds her up.
Absolutely.
You have
Absolutely.
to really spend time
Mhm.
around her to understand that. So the problem is, Bruce can be walking around, and my other guy here walking around, and they just doing their natural thing, and so they can have a million things, a stratosphere in their brain, but a woman can't see that. She only sees he looks like he's a
Mhm.
reserved man in thoughts. I'm attracted to that. So there it goes, and it starts
Mhm.
off, and
Mhm.
and even the most creative person or whoever you are, you still desire companionship. So there's
Absolutely.
that weakness there. 'Cause you still need that, but it's not easy.
And you know what,
Mhm.
Mr. Dixon, that's where
To
wisdom
piggyback,
comes in. That's where wisdom comes in
yeah,
to
Yeah,
discern who you're dealing with. Go ahead, Marquis.
yeah, yeah.
back off of what you were saying as far as like it has to be reciprocity and that's your
Absolutely.
confidant. But
Absolutely.
confidant means that you are confiding in that person.
Absolutely.
Mm,
And if you are
Absolutely.
confiding in that person, that means that you're giving your complete vulnerable self to that person. So you have to be mature enough to say,
Mhm.
what can I do for them to take care of
Absolutely.
mm.
them so that I can
Absolutely.
continue to be vulnerable to confide? And that's
Wow,
what a
Absolutely.
confidant is.
Absolutely.
wow,
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's
So,
good.
that was good.
so
That was good.
Robert, let me pull
And
up the definition
but
of.
that goes back though. That ties back into.
Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
got the definition. I
Yeah,
got the
Robert did put
definition.
that one.
So whether look, I told you I was gonna be obedient. But so whether you want to look at support as being a verb or a noun, right? So
Okay, come
as
on.
a verb, support means to either bear all or to hold up or to give assistance to, enable to function or act. As a
Mm,
noun, support is the thing that bears the weight of something or keeps it upright or material assistance. So I think, to
yeah.
go back to what Marquita said, it still goes back to knowing who you're dealing with and knowing, like, because if you're
Absolutely.
mature, it's not going to work to have somebody that's immature. If you got a lot
Right.
on your plate, it don't mean that the other person have to have a lot on their plate, but it means that they have to be able to be strong enough to handle what's on your plate and to
Mm,
understand that they may not always be able to be on your plate, but it doesn't make them any less valuable. Because I think at the end of the day, what support really means, or what it boils down to, is being able to contribute value. And it's not always a materialistic thing, but to be able to build a person up. And with men, a lot of times, is building them up emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Even though you guys
yeah.
are not emotional, to have somebody feed to your ego, to know that you're my strength and I need that. And so if I can contribute to that strength instead of always trying to
Absolutely.
take away from it, then that's where the support comes in. And how each man needs that might differ, but every man needs a woman that's able to make him, I don't want to say make him better, but contribute to what it is that he's trying to build.
Right.
To create,
Men are
it's
after
all
peace.
about creating a
They after
safe
peace.
haven for him.
Absolutely, peace. That's what men are after,
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah.
If you're not
Well, but
contributing,
here's the other thing. This is how important a woman is to the man. So
Mhm.
let's just say Bruce is standing here with his arms up like this, and he has said, P. Coffee, you standing in front of him, and he said, P. Coffee, I'm choosing to support and cover you. So he stands in front of you, putting his back to the elements. Well, guess what? When them elements start come, they're gonna be beating him in the back. But the reason he doesn't fall on his face is because you're in front of him. You're supporting him, holding up his front. Well, guess what? When you move, he falls flat on his face. That's why it's
Come on,
important
bro.
for the man to have the adequate support in his life. He has to have the right
Absolutely.
person to be able to weather him as he's weathering her. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and you know what? The power in that to protect and preserve each other is that they're facing each other. So whatever's
Right. That's
coming
it.
is
Yeah.
on the outside. It's not
Correct.
in the inside. That's
Correct.
where the
Yeah.
power
Come
lies.
on.
When
Right.
he and her are
Mhm.
facing each other, and no matter what's coming, they're gonna fall into each other. So they
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
always will be covered as far as within the confines of their partnership that they've actually vested in
Formed.
together,
Right.
because they're
Right.
chest to chest. So, and the
Right.
chest is where your heart is. It's where everything lies. Your everything rises and falls right here in everything
Yeah.
that you can be attached to, or your brain and everything in the front, all that stuff, you're covered because you're falling right into them, and they're right. Y'all going back and forth,
Back and
back and
forth.
forth, piggybacking, protecting,
Mhm.
preserving, and supporting each other. That's what it's all about. And so even if that relationship severs as far as the romantic part, that part as far as the covering, the connecting, it still can be intact, but it has to be intact within reason and in responsibility of who you're with now. So you got to be
Right.
responsible to your new relationship, but you can still support someone else without it convoluting who you're with currently. But it has to be genuine support, not out of, oh, I like what Bruce was talking about, oh man, I gotta go see. I didn't heard he gonna be singing over there. And that means that there's a door that's still open. There's a portal
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
open of
And
attention.
if you got to
Mhm.
sneak, if you got to
Absolutely.
sneak, it's not genuine support.
It's not genuine at
Yeah.
all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you got to do any line, because here's
Yeah.
another thing: when your
Yeah.
person comes to you and they ask you straight up, "Hey, what's going on? You going where?" It's the answer should be, "I'm going to see Charles sing at the Blue Note, whatever." Period. Instead of saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm going to see my friend." What you mean, your friend? Why don't I
Right.
know? And not saying you got to give a bunch of specifics and details.
Yeah.
The relationship should be so intact that truth is the pillar and the ground of your whole foundation. Truth,
Right.
being
Right.
100% honest, being 100% honest. Mr. Baker.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Baker.
We done shut them
I,
down.
I, I, I love that you said we should be upfront, but
Uh-oh.
as a
Uh-oh.
man, when you say things like that to a woman that you're involved with,
Right.
why you going tonight? Can I come with you? Well,
Yeah.
you didn't tell me about it earlier. I told you about it a couple days ago. Well, I got to get myself together, and it takes
Yeah.
a
She
while for
does.
women to get ready. It doesn't take
Yeah.
guys ready for us to put on the shirt, some pair of
Yeah.
pants, and we run right out. But we got to wait, and we got to take time, and by that time, I'm being personal. It gets old, and I'm ready to go, and I got to wait on you. I know
Right.
we should tell you up front. We're going to hang out with some friends. Well, I don't know who's going to be there.
Right.
I know I'm going to hear somebody sing, but it's my homeboy's girl I'm going to see with.
Right.
Married guys should hang with married guys, shouldn't hang with
Mm.
single guys. Because if you
Right.
hang with single guys, you get a single boy or single man problems that you don't need
Right.
in your married life.
Right. That's real
It,
talk.
it,
Yeah.
it's hard to do because most of I'm single, but most of my boys
I'm
might
married.
be married. And I
Mm.
can't say, come on, man, let's go holler at this girl. Well, I got to respect their marriage by saying, I know you married, so I'm not going to even ask you out because we don't know what's going to happen tonight.
Right. 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 I get you.
So I know we should be upfront and tell you, but things happen, not all
Yeah.
the time. But it's just like that. So I'm going to hang out with my boys. We don't know. I don't know who's going to be there tonight. But
What? Go ahead. Go ahead, there.
and certain women have a hidden agenda, just like guys sometimes have a hidden
Right.
agenda. When we go out, we don't know what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Right.
That's why we don't have. That's why I don't have any preconceived ideas. I just go out. If
Right.
something happens, something happens. If it don't, no harm, no foul.
Right.
But then again, I ain't got nobody at home waiting on me either, so it's a
Right.
difference. I don't
Right.
mind going out, hang out for a couple hours, and have my butt home by 11 o'clock because
Right.
I got to go to work in the morning for one. I got to support my wife. I got to support
Right.
my family. I got to pay these bills around. I can't be out playing all night.
Right. Exactly. Right. You got a different set of responsibilities. Yeah.
Right, and that's back to being grown. Being grown, you know your responsibility, know what you have to get done and how you got to get it done, and who's
Right.
going to allow you to get it done and say, okay, baby, you go out tonight. I'm not going to trip tonight. Go and have some fun. You deserve it. You worked hard all week. Go have some fun. Hang out with your boys, especially if you're
Right.
maternity. That's a whole
Right.
different subject.
Right.
Yeah.
And Big Coffee, what he sounded like he was saying in so many words is sometimes we as men may not provide as much details as women would like, because women want you to be very detailed. However, we look at details as putting our hands inside of an octopus. Because now we're giving you details, it's all of a sudden, but you told me this, and you're like, oh, forget about it. I ain't going nowhere. Because the more we
Right.
tell you, y'all don't forget nothing. So everything we tell you will be held against us later. So we give it to you as vague as possible because we know you smart enough to pick it apart and ask us questions later where you know what, if you did this, you should have been this about it. And you like, oh, you know what, I ain't going nowhere tonight. Forget about it.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a whole bunch of insecurity issues, though.
But then,
I feel like I can't control you. If that's what you're gonna do, you're gonna do it. If that's how you're gonna say, you're gonna say it. I can't control that. I just feel like, allow, it was something that P. Coffee said. I can't even remember what it was. But it's when you have to trust that person. When you go into something and you say, I'm gonna believe you until you give me something or give me a reason not to.
Right.
Until then, everything you say, I'm gonna take it as what you said, and I'm gonna take it as true.
Right. Well, unfortunately, we live in the era of the ankle monitor. Men today wear ankle monitors. Believe it. It's like nowadays, it is like we are. It's sad to say it this way, but in some cases, it feels like, well, let me go see my parole officer. That's the way it feels. Check your P. You did this. Where'd you go? You do this. It's a whole different culture out here nowadays, and the lack of trust is driving it. That's what's happening today.
Okay, but if there is no reason to distrust, then why is there an assumption that it's automatic?
It's not even so much as reason. I'm gonna tell you, some people. Now I've been talking about this one thing I'm gonna say in a minute. I don't know why I've been talking about it so much here lately, but I have been discovering more and more just how much sisters disagree and don't like one another because they don't trust one another. And so this is what I'm saying. You can meet someone and they will automatically put all of their ideals and their deal breakers and demands up front to you because they're saying, now look, this is how I run my ship. I know how these women out here are. So Bruce, this is how we gonna do this with me. Because they're trying to let you know I don't trust them. I don't know you want them to really trust you yet. So this is a bad situation. But this is how a lot of things are starting out.
And so what you're saying, what I hear you saying is, and kind of what I hear Darren saying is, basically, people are coming into these dynamics and these equations without without the ability or the capacity to trust. Because it sounds to me like what you're saying is, and this is man and female, that whoever you're dealing with, they don't trust themselves. It really don't have nothing to do with you. If they come in like it's something internal.
Some women think some of them think that they have a justified thought in how other women get down. They'll say, I'm not leaving my man over there. Or I've heard people tell me, oh, you're not gonna meet this one until we get ready to get married. Because they don't trust this particular friend or family member. I mean, it just depends. And she's a female.
Right.
Yeah, so it just depends.
Now that's different because that's a track record that person sees in that person. That's totally different. Yeah. I'm talking about boy meets girl and automatically the Q&A session starts.
Yeah.
Without people are starting off with deficiencies.
That's it. That's the point. People are broken. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
They people are coming to the table. People are coming to the table, sis, in the red.
Correct.
Yeah.
And just true. Like a woman has intuition, we as men, we have instincts.
Right. Yes.
Y'all have intuition. We have instincts, man. We feel that thing.
Good stuff. Yeah.
We hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can smell it. We are hunters. We can smell that thing, man.
Right.
And then when we make an attempt to talk to y'all about it, what do we get in response, Charles? We try to talk to them about it.
I'm not insecure. It's not wrong. Something wrong with you. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it.
I'm not like the last one you dated.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
That's it.
I'm different.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
So how can you support me? Say like for me, I am a weird person.
Yes,
I know I'm weird. I read about 10 books a month.
Right.
I get high off of research and conspiracy theories.
Yeah, knowledge. Yeah.
Intellectual stimulation.
Yeah.
You know, so the other things when I was a younger man, well, I was been like this for years, but I know because I'm weird. When you sit at the table with me, you have to come mind first. Your body is not gonna get.
I know that's right.
Oh,
Yes.
And I'm going to listen to your conversation. I'm gonna ask you questions while I'm laughing. You think it's casual conversation, but I am doing a CSI Criminal Minds profile of you while we're sitting at the dinner table. And you never gonna know it.
yeah.
Well, Bruce, you do it a different way. I pay attention to detail. I don't miss many things. And I'm sitting up here talking to them. I'm paying attention to their eyes. I'm looking at what's going on. I'm looking at body language. Just how you're doing your way, I have my way. I pay attention to detail. I pay attention to how they say certain things, what they say about certain things, how they say certain things that I may like, I may not like. I may need that. Sometimes you need a cheerleader when you need a drill sergeant. Can they be both at the right time and place when I need them to be?
That's right.
So
if it can't be those things, how are you going to offer support? If you can't be those things, how are you presenting support? You're not presenting support. Your motive is not support. Your motive is something else.
Wow.
Wow.
You know, in turning the ship around before we go into the slow close, here's the thing. If women or men, if you approach and go into meeting someone, and of course we kind of start off based off attraction. Okay, so whatever attracted you to the person, you go in, you talk to them, but the minute you discover toenail is a little heavy, she's deep, at that point, the best answer you can tell the person, you know what? Listen, I want you to really do what you're going to do because I'm going to be here. But in the meantime, when you're here, be learning her away from her. Like, you can still be dealing with her, but be learning and educating yourself on what Tennille does and what makes her click and how can I come in and take her world to the next level. That's how you should think. Don't be with her and try to be next to her, but you're not learning anything. You just next to her, but you're not helping her because you just a body on her couch. She needs somebody to help move her vehicle along, not you just being a body. And so this is the problem. People want to be with you, but they don't want the weight of your cause. They just want to be with you. Right. And the ship ain't going to move unless you learn and apply yourself to be able to move with me. Well, it's not going to work. But people are feeling like, look, whenever you get finished with that and shut that down, I'm gonna be over here with dinner. Okay, that's great, but somebody's taking us to Dubai next week. Are you prepared to go there and help me on this panel? No. So you need that. You know what I'm saying? So
and it's almost like saying, if you really want to know who somebody is, show me your community. Show me how you show me your friends. Show me how you respond to a waitress in a restaurant. Show me like, what do you do in your off time when I'm off doing this? Are you just waiting on me, or do you actually have something that you're doing too?
Wow,
girl,
and that's important.
That's a whole word.
Oh, goodness.
You said a mouthful. You said a mouthful then because
she said it right there.
When you talk about community, that is to know who your person is plugged into. Are these relationships solid? Are they consistent? Are the people that they look, is the guys that they hang with, are they guys of substance and integrity?
Absolutely.
Come on.
If a guy is dealing with a whole bunch of dudes and they all got whorish tendencies and that chick, then it's safe to say that he's running with them because something inside of him is attracted to them.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So it may not necessarily quote unquote be that he's applying that behavior, but something inside of him is attracted to those type of animals, if you will, people. You know what I'm saying? That goes both ways. That's like if I'm hanging around, if my person was to say to me, well, dang, every time I turn around, you out with, but didn't you say she just did? Okay, but why you always?
Come on, Coffee, say it. Ain't she a whore?
Right.
Say it, Coffee.
Okay, all right, fine, Bruce, fine. But girl, she's stepping out on a dude or whatever. Why are you always?
But you know what I've learned? When you're dealing with grown folks, you gotta let grown folks do grown things. When one thing a man or woman don't like is somebody telling you who you shouldn't and shouldn't hang with. That person is smart enough to know who they shouldn't be with or not. And
And
if
it's
you're
not
not able
to
to
tell
police them, but I'm telling you, we live in a culture where people are now trying to police grown people in relationships. And you
Yeah.
can't do it.
That's
It's either it's going to work
Mm-mm.
organically or with good communication
Mm-mm.
and a soft answer, or it's not. But you can't police anybody to do anything. But we
But that's
try
why
to
I
now.
said
Mm-hmm.
watch. That's
that's
why
true.
the operative word that I used was
Yeah,
watch. They're hanging with.
yeah.
If you see that your person, what Marquita said was spot on, and what you said just now was spot on. If somebody is always around somebody with a bunch of defects, you got to ask yourself, is my person defective?
Are they
Right.
defective? Come on.
Absolutely. You got to ask
And
Yeah.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
and two, it's like if they don't have a community, that means that they're leaving themselves isolated to themselves.
Honorable.
So you
Absolutely.
don't have a sounding board. So whatever
Yeah.
you think is right, whatever you do, you think
Yes.
is right because you
Right.
have
Absolutely.
no sounding board.
Yes.
Right. No wise counsel. Nobody
Girl,
wiser than you is
Right.
in front of you, leading you where you need to go. Because it's like it's a pertinent
girl.
question. Yes. Who's speaking into your life? Somebody's speaking into it. Somebody telling you
Yeah.
something.
So,
If you're the smartest
Mm-hmm.
whose
person in the
voice are
room,
you honoring? Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
problem if you're the
Yeah.
smartest
Yeah.
person in your
Mm-hmm.
community. That's bad.
Hey,
If you're the
hey,
smartest
Right.
Darren,
person,
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Darren.
And
So,
you ain't got nothing.
right.
Absolutely.
Hey, Darren, as we steer the ship into the dock, this is something that we do every week. Each time we get ready to close out, we may tell everybody to kind of give like a 10-second outro of advice on this topic of just your kind of closing argument of what you think will help somebody in dealing with this.
Oh, you want it now? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna start with you, then we'll move on with everybody else.
Watch it,
That's
watch
all
it, Mr. Baker. Watch it, watch it.
Okay. We all touched on it tonight. It seems like we need to know our mate or know the person that we're confiding in.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. You can't go in and give everything up front and expect them not knowing who they are. I think Tonita said it. The three persons, you have to figure out who that is. That takes time. You can't just give
Absolutely.
that automatically out the gate. It takes time to know anybody, whether it be a friend, whether it be a sexual partner, whether it be a sister down the street. You have to know who they are and put them in the right lane. So I
Yeah.
would say in closing, know who you're dealing with and know what they're about before you express or give anything away for free.
That's right. That's right.
Marquita.
That's right.
I will just go back to what I said. As far as to know how to vet the person. So that means you have to know yourself in order to be able to vet that person. And also just really take a closer look at their community, whether they're by themselves or the people who they hang with, and they will really determine who they are as a person.
Right. Wow. All right. So Neil.
I would say know yourself, because if you know yourself and you know what you're looking for, then you won't be in a rush to settle for anything. Because at the end of the day, my mother used to always say anything worth having is worth working for. And so you have to understand that you're not finna get, a soulmate in 37 seconds. So know yourself so that way you can know what you're looking for.
Good stuff. Bruce.
That's good. I would say to try people before you trust them.
Wow.
Try
Good
That's
people
stuff.
for
good.
different
I
tasks
like
before you
that.
trust
Try
them.
them before
Right.
you trust them. I like
Good
that.
stuff.
And either and
I'm
small
cool.
tasks because it's one thing that speak. You know how they say actions speak louder than
Louder
words.
than words. Right.
Right.
Reactions speak louder than actions.
Yes.
Wow.
You
Good
measure
stuff.
a person's
Mm-hmm.
reaction
That was
to the
Mm-hmm.
dope.
task
Yeah.
that you try them with.
I'm
Right.
quoting
That's
you
It'll
good.
save
twice.
you 10 years of trying to figure out something about this person you can learn in 5 days.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
we talked a lot about women tonight.
Right.
So on the other
Flip
hand,
side.
I
Yeah.
want to encourage women to learn, since we're talking about support, right?
Right.
And people being there once it's over. Learn how, if you don't know the story already, research how a female eagle chooses her mate.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's
good.
good.
Learn
That's
how the
good.
Yeah.
female eagle chooses
Excellent
her mate.
analogy. Excellent
Yeah.
analogy.
Good one.
That will
Mm-hmm.
assist you. It will
Mm-hmm.
assist you in choosing the people that's not going to turn and run once the situation is over.
That's
Wow.
strong.
Good stuff. Big
That's
coffee.
good.
Good
Man,
stuff.
you want me to say something, Reverend Dixon?
You say something too. Now I go after you. Come on.
Reverend
You
Deacon.
know how we do this every week. I tell you. Come on.
You know what? I Bruce just messed me up.
Yeah,
Man,
that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bruce, man, going back to what you said about being weird, I really honestly don't believe that it's weird because this year already I've ingested 112 books. So
Mm,
I don't think it's weird at all. I think that
Mhm.
what you do is going to add value to a whole lot of people, and I think it's imperative that we hunger and thirst
yeah.
after knowledge, and not just hunger and thirst after, but make application. So what I
Absolutely.
would say is, knowledge is not power if there's no application. It's nothing. It's just like you learned absolutely nothing.
Mhm.
But just you guys from these shows and these segments that we have, take the information and utilize it. We mentioned a lot of different solid things and a lot of information that we share. Take it and utilize it to create a better environment. If you're single and you're unattached, do it to equip yourself to prepare for an opportunity to have a successful relationship with someone. Take the information and utilize it, ingest it, watch it over and over again. Get the books that we talk about from time to time. Do the study that we just talked about with the eagle, but make application. Don't just take the information and not apply it to your life. That's what's going to be the catalyst of all of
Mhm.
our success is making application. We are accountable for what we hear. So make sure you apply it and utilize it to make your life better and those around you and within the confines
Mhm.
of your community. If you don't have a platform on the audience, somebody is looking at you and somebody needs you to do whatever it is that you do to build them up.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. And I would just simply say, in last kind of follow up after after her teacher's pet answer. Anyway, no, no, but anyway, no, listen, no, I'm just joking. But listen, no, I would just say this: real support, real support doesn't punch back. I'm gonna tell you what I mean when I say that. When
Come on,
if you
bro.
think of any solid thing, it cannot stand if the foundation is moving. So what I'm saying is, if I didn't even look in the comments tonight, but I bet you, if you look in the comments,
Mhm.
you're gonna see men hitting back and women hitting back. And what I mean is hitting back to our responses. And the point is, if someone's really supporting you, and let's just say I'm the person and I'm supporting someone, and my job is to stay here and basically be unmovable and just move and just kind of support me.
Yeah,
But if I'm going like this,
yeah,
well, Charles, you said this, you making my
yeah,
platform unstable, and now I'm about to
Mhm.
fall over. So if you're going to
Mhm.
be a support, not a combat. Be a support.
yeah,
So that's
Mhm.
the
yeah,
problem. We say we support them, but we combative.
yes.
Let's not be combative. Let's
Mhm.
find a way to work together and be supportive, and so we can hold up one another. But not
Mhm.
just all this hitting back and my point.
Mhm.
It doesn't solve nothing. If we can do that, we
Mhm.
can support each other
Mhm.
better. So
That's
that's all.
awesome. That's awesome.
Appreciate y'all coming back for another
I,
week.
I, I want to say, Bruce, you've inspired me to read a book, brother. I don't normally read, but if you read 10 books, I can get at least one every
I
six
know that's
months
right.
at least.
Good stuff, man.
My
Good
man,
stuff.
my man.
Good
Oh,
stuff.
goodness. Lord today.
So
Lord
Peacock, take
today.
us on out, Peacock.
Sir, I'm over here. Did you say you? Oh my God, that's funny. Oh man, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in another week with us. We greatly support you guys. I mean, we greatly appreciate you guys supporting the endeavor to help us build relationships. We truly appreciate your time tonight. Without you, it would be no us. And Mr. Baker, please go ahead and get a book and ingest it and read it.
I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna go to sleep on. I like audiobooks. I'm gonna get the audiobooks.
That was
Good, good
so
stuff, good
funny.
stuff.
Oh my
That's
God.
good.
But thank y'all for your time so much. We'll be back, same bad time, same bad channel next
No,
week
no,
with
no, no, no,
another
no, 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 no.
with another you know what, Mr. Baker? With
Well,
another
only
nice,
few people.
nice to
Only few
meet you,
people caught
Darren.
that. Only few people caught that. Only few people
Yeah.
caught that.
Nice to
we
meet you, Darren. And,
got
and
it.
we,
Thank
we,
you, sir.
we get you
Appreciate it.
back again,
Thanks.
sir. We'll have you back again soon, sir. So, sure.
That's it's,
But we
all you gotta do is
appreciate
ask.
y'all. Have
That's
an
good,
awesome
bro.
night, guys. Thank y'all so
Yeah.
much.
Take care,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all. Have a
All
good
right.
evening. Have a
Thanks
good
for
All
evening.
right.
having
Good
us.
evening.
Bye. Have a good
Have a
evening.
great night.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
All right.
Now I can cuss. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh Lord have mercy.